Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Yanti Rosmayanti. I am from 3D class. In this occasion, I would like to explain about my research proposal. The title of my research is Analysis of Translations Techniques Used and its Acceptability in Indonesian Translated Story and Title Tambelina. The background of the study. The first, many English texts are translated into Indonesian and vice versa. Translating is not an easy task about it deals with transferring thoughts and ideas from one language to another. Several problems may occur during the process of translations. The most common problem is that equivalence takes place in the target language. In the process of translations, the translator must be careful in examining the source language. The second, translation is viewed as a process of transferring meaning or message that are similar to the original author from source language to the target language and another language target language. And if someone who wants to analyze how the result of the translation techniques is a tool to use it. The writer will be interested in the investigating, analyze, and classify translation techniques are used in translated a story of Tambelina. What translation techniques are dominantly used in translated a story of Tambelina, and what is the level of acceptability of the translated a story of Tambelina? It is important if translation study will be applied in English teaching, especially in EFL studies. The benefit of conducting this study because it can help students and teachers to understand the connections between two languages. Besides, teachers and students can explore their potential, including the equivalent meanings, message, structures, and other before teachers who want to teach English material. The research question from this research, the first, what kind of translation techniques are used in a translated a story entitled Tambelina? The second, what translation techniques are dominantly used in translated a story entitled Tambelina? The third, what is the level of acceptability in the translated a story entitled Tambelina? For purpose of the study of this research, the first, to find out the kinds of translation techniques are used in translating a story of Tambelina by a translator. The second, to find out the translation techniques are dominantly used in translating a story of Tambelina by a translator. The third, to find out the level of acceptability in the translated a story of Tambelina for target reader. The next, the scope of the study. The scope of this research focuses on finding out the kinds of translation techniques used in a story Tambelina. In addition, the scope of study is also expanded to the translation techniques are dominantly used by translator in translating a story of Tambelina. Also, the level of acceptability of the translated a story of Tambelina. The next, the review of the literature. The first, translations is an activity which enables human beings to exchange ideas and also regardless the different language used. Translations is science and art science. Catford in 1978, page 20, says that translations is the replacement of textual material on language by equivalent textual material in another language. According to Bell, 1991, in page 5, state that translation was the expression in another language of what has been expressed in another such language, preserving semantic and stylistic equivalence. The second, translations techniques is related to the translation result because translation techniques will be applied when the source text is translated. There have many kinds of translation techniques. Translation techniques, according to Molina and Albert, 2002, in page 509. It describes the result and can be used to analyze that classify how translations equivalence works. And the next, translation quality assessment is an evaluation of the translation product. Translation quality assessment is an activity to give value to a translation product, whether the product is having good quality or not. The purpose for doing the assessment is to make sure that the target text contains the same idea, thought, and message as the source language. And last, acceptability is closely related to cultures and mindset of the target reader. Another statement about acceptability is defined by Churi as cited in Angono 2010, page 23. For the research design, for this research, is the writer used descriptive qualitative data. The writer aims only to describe a phenomenon and doesn't draw any hypothesis. The descriptive qualitative method is a method for finding facts about factual phenomenon. For the population and sample for this research, the population of this study was document of Tambelina in English and Indonesian versions. The second, to gain a representative sample from the populations, the writer used purposive sampling method. The samples of this study was analyzes the primary data and secondary data. Okay, I think enough for my research proposal, my explanation. I'm sorry for my mistake. Thank you for attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.